art, big metal welding, and a lot of the future laser cut. Like, I don't know if you guys thought about this year, but I looked around and I was like, Jesus Christ, Burning Man 2014 were like stencils everywhere, laser cut stencils everywhere, like amazing detail. I would love you guys just to talk about a little bit of the future, as you see it, of the art at Burning Man, and perhaps also how, hands up if you've made art for Burning Man before. Hands up if you continue to have your hands up if you've exhibited that work at galleries. Okay, so that, how do we close that gap too? So those are the two questions, the future of the art and how to mesh the art throughout the year and bring it into the real world.
So I think there's a place for both, you know, the very heavy labor, you know, labor intensive work of old, and, you know, the newer CNC kind of work. You'll see some artists who are very much about CNC work. Kate Raudenbush does a lot of CNC work. You know, it's a very important part of her work. Flaming Lotus Girls really do a lot of like heavy fabrication. So I don't really think it's an either or. You know, it's just a matter of what is inspiring. The heavy labor work is.
It's definitely
an and. The heavy labor work is it's very difficult. You know, it affects your life in a lot of strange ways over time. It's expensive, but I think it's a really important part of what we do out there. And I think the new technology just enhances that, and so it's kind of exciting to see the way it's transforming to me. As far as the you know, the gallery bringing the work to the, you know, to the blue chip gallery world,
or just or at least bringing the art of Burning Man outside. How can we effectively do that?
It's a really tricky process because, you know, we're considered outsider art, and you know, the Black Rock Arts Foundation, which is now, what are they calling it? It's all kind of been wrapped.
Melding into your Burning Man project.
So
Black Rock Arts Foundation is going to become part of the Burning Man project. That's in the process.
So, you know, they've worked tirelessly to try to find ways to bring the art into the public, you know, the non-Burning Man world, and it's been very, you know, successful in a very small way. But there are some notable examples, and I think it's just a time-honored process. It's going to take time for the outsider art of Burning Man to be accepted by the very stodgy gallery and museum world. But because we've seen it happen, for instance, you know, with Leo Villarreal having done the Bay Lights on the Bay Bridge, if anyone's seen that, it's, you know, they raised, I think, $6 or $8 million to do that. That's a perfect example of how this process is slowly happening. There have been some museum purchases. There's been some very large commissions. I know of one particular artist who got a $750,000 public art commission.
So I guess that's like a good point, is that, and I didn't mean to like frame it as in museums necessarily. Museums can be a part of it, but just in general, like bringing it out. Mikey, I would love to hear, because you seem to have been very successful at selling something that's very different and getting paid well to do it. Is there anything, first of all, you'd like to talk about on the basic question of like the future of Burning Man art, how to bring it out into the world, and some of the successes you've had?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference between gallery art and Burning Man art, and that is dust. All right, so you've got all this art you see, and it's like not made for dust, and then you've got art that's made for dust. So that's the huge difference right there. And
that's great.
I mean, I make art, but my art is all computers and projectors and gears and motors, and my shit would be destroyed immediately on the playa. So being an artist who likes to make art, I still really can't make the stuff that I do out on the playa. Yeah, I don't have the money to make it dust-proof, so to speak, right? But people are really starting to spend a lot more money, and they're starting to come to our company, and they're like, listen, we want to have this laser cut, we want pendants made, we want to have these things CNC'd. I mean, we probably did 17 camps worth of shit this year. I'm walking around the playa, I'm like, oh yeah, we made that, we cut that, we did this. And it's just really cool because people are finally starting to be aware. It's all about awareness of what you have at your fingertips. People don't know. They don't know they can just go and call a company and say, here's my Illustrator file. Can you make my pendants for my camp? And it's that simple. If you know Illustrator, you can have something laser cut or CNC. All I ask is that you guys start before August 1st, because everybody comes to us on like August 15th and they're like, listen dude, I gotta have this whole thing made, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's like 50 people that want this. Like, we did all the cutting for the Lost Hotel this year, and it was the Lost Hotel, and it was 15 days of straight CNC cutting. The mill never turned off, 738 sheets of wood, and it was insane. And this was a perfect example of technology creating this, you know, amazing thing out there. It was a hotel that had like 100 rooms, beds, nightstands, toilet paper towel holders. Scott Mahoney was the designer of it, all of it packed flat, and it was just genius. But they came to us like, you know, use all these tools, use this technology to do it. But
so, okay, basically the deal is with art, here's the lowdown. Every new technology is a new tool for expression, as it seems, right? Like at one point, oil paint was, oil paint was like a high technology, and there was probably some artists back in the day when oil paint was created, and there was those pushing the boundaries using oil paint, and those using charcoal were like, you fucking new kids with your oil paint, that shit's bullshit, you know? And so, but that's how it was. And it took a time for it to become adopted into the wider stream of art, as a tool that can be used for artistic expression. And so it's, again, we're coming back to the theme of the night. It's another end thing. It's like, guess what? The oil paint doesn't mean you can't use charcoal anymore. It just means now you got a new tool for self-expression. And so now as we got computers doing our bidding and printing things out and cutting things, it's not cheating, it's just adding to the story, what we can tell, what narrative we can tell, right? It's an and world as we're finding out. Okay, this is really important. Like, this is a sort of, I love simple nuggets that can profoundly impact your life. So now we have something, I believe, from this whole evening so far that can profoundly impact our life as we go day to day thinking about, oh, is that an and, a both and decision, or is that a divisive one? Does that cut out a bridge? Does that build a fence? So that's something solid to think about. It's us and everything.
It's one of the principles.
Yes.
It's radical inclusivity.
Right.
A lot of people think radical inclusivity just means including people. But radical inclusivity actually means radically including ideas, thoughts, dreams, processes, materials. It's including everything that's in your outer world into your world.
Right. So these are let's not get too much into the plug and plays because it's a real slippery slope, and we already covered it a little bit, like in the best version how it could be handled. So I believe we can spread that message. What I would love to end on, because
can I say this?
Sure.
I don't know. I just thought.
There have been plug and plays of Burning Man for many years. Some of it's gotten really nasty. We know that. Obviously, this isn't the time to debate it.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna cut it off right there. No, Dan has an important point that a lot of the stuff that we often bitch about has been there for years. Okay, and then, but you know what? It's also our opportunity to. There was this great book that I was reading, and it was like, it's kind of a loaded title. The title's not important, but it was like, how do you, like, you know, you just tell this guy talking to God. He's like, God, you know, you're trying to tell me to love the devil, and God, in His wisdom, in this very gruff voice, as an audiobook, was like, how else do you expect to heal the devil? And I was like, whoa, right? And so my point there is, I'm not a very religious person, but when I heard that actually all the things that you don't like and you bitch about and you think that aren't you, actually the best way to inspire them and to make any positive change is to also love them. There was a moment when I just wanted some fucking peace at dawn, and I was out at like 2 o'clock and at the Esplanade, and I just was like, it was like I needed some sunrise vibes going on, and it was like Crankfest was still going on. And I was like, where's my shoe? It's been a crazy night. It's like, I'm like, oh Jesus, do they not like sultry, sexy, like sunrise vibes? And I was like, you know what? Maybe not, and that's cool too. That's part of the whole spectrum. Love it all. You gotta love it all. We're all on the spectrum. We're all going up this pyramid together. So let's just make it as pleasurable for everybody as we go up it. So on that note, I want to really bring it to a positive vibe. And this is what it is all about, guys. I've heard some facts that this year LA represented in a big fucking way at Burningman.
Way to bring it, LA. I I mean,
Athena, tell me about, like, what are some of the numbers?
15 of the Esplanade theme camps, major theme camps, came out of LA.
Wow.
There was something like 80 LA theme camps out of LA. Burning Man sent us the list, and there was like 80 different theme camps that came out of LA. There were more Kickstarter campaigns in LA than any city, and I don't just mean Burning Man Kickstarter campaigns.
Wow.
I mean any Kickstarter campaign. We outshined all of them by a long shot. Indiegogo, by the way, had similar numbers that Kickstarter did as far as campaigns that came out of LA. And right now we have about almost 14,000 likes on our Burning Man page. There's somewhere around 9,000 people on our newsletter list. And I just want to say, if you guys are doing something in LA, free or paid or whatever, if you're burners and you're organizing, you're trying to get other burners to participate, the newsletter's for you. The newsletter is for you to let the community know what you're doing. And we have a website, laburningman.com, the city you're in, the city you want to be in.com, pretty simple. If you click on newsletter, you can sign up for it. And then there's a form, and you can click on the form and fill it out of what you want to put in the newsletter. It comes out every Tuesday. Wow. We are the only region out of the 31 in the globe that does a weekly newsletter, and it's because you guys are busy. Right before Burning Man, that newsletter was 36 pages long. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Plaid and Gloria put that newsletter together, and just huge kudos to her. Josh, was Josh still here? Josh, you should do that newsletter. He knows. That's a lot of fucking work. So kudos to Josh for putting that newsletter together. Kudos to Plaid and Gloria for putting it together. There's a lot going on in this town. Gloria brought Inspirality Palace. And I will say the LA League of Arts is LA Burning Man. Just to give you guys a little lowdown. We are a not-for-profit. We are a 501c3 tax-deductible organization. If you have an art project or leadership program or whatever, if you have a project that you're doing that you want to start getting grants for, we can fiscally sponsor you. We can umbrella you. The Black Arc Observatory, Inspirality Palace, and an organization up in Santa Barbara called I Am Life, which is a youth leadership program that teaches, I Am Life, that teaches youth our form of leadership, the do-ocracy leadership. We have fiscally sponsored them, so they can go and get grants and tax deductions and large donations, and so we're here for you. So if you need that, contact us. Grab one of these cards and contact us, and we'd love to hear about your project.
If you want to start a project or have an event and you want it to be not just to get trouble from Burning Man or the Burning Man organization, because they are tight with their brand and there's a lot of reasons for it, but you actually want to be supported by them, Athena's a great person to talk to. The first person I talked to when I was putting this event together with some of the others was like, talking to Athena, because it's like, I would rather have her and Burning Man on my side than to do something stupid that's pretty easy to just like not do the things that they ask not to do from a brand level, and then they've got your back. So it's like, I would recommend that. Sometimes you want to ask for forgiveness and permission, but with this case, it's like we're all friends here. And so I want to just say, first of all, guys, we live in the city that has the most potential for cultural change across this globe. It's it. We create through our impersonal things, everything from small events like this to what we do in the city, to then leveraging what I call the Trojan horse of culture, which is media. It is the one way that we can stampede the best and most wonderful things of our culture into the living rooms of people all across the globe. It's the television, it's media, it's whatever screen you're watching, and we live in it. And it's the gorilla in the room, and we also hate it sometimes because it's fucking often taking our friends away to do other jobs, or people are fucking stressed. And sometimes we feel it's all consuming. But you know what we're doing when we're thinking about it like that is we're not thinking about it with the both and mentality. Because we can have the great relationship with the industry, the city that we're in, with the amazing amount of people, 14, 15 million people in this greater area, resources out the wazoo, and then this giant megaphone across the world with which we can spread what we think is beautiful and wonderful. And if you're not doing that, that's cool too. If you want to do that, think about how you can. Every moment is an opportunity to think about how you could do it more. And it ultimately comes back to you. Do you feel good at the beginning of your day? Do you feel good at the end of the day? The people you're interacting with, the decisions you're making, the way you're living your life? If you're being honest to yourself, then you are. If there's a weird thing in there that you feel something you're fighting, hey, just open a conversation. Start talking about it with those that are close to you, with your friends, with yourself. Because guys, together we can fucking change this planet. More and more beautiful. Not even change it, just evolve it. We're not trying to change it for another thing. Let's stop creating the duality. This is no more default world. This is evolving it.
I need to make one statement. Real fast. We have a magnificent man in our burner community that is running for city council. His name is Jay Bieber, and because of him, and you can thank him, we have no more red light cameras. He's the real deal. He's on our side. He might not be in your district. He's in District 4. And even if he's not in your district, which means you can't vote for him, you can still support him. You can still make a donation. You can still spread the word. You can still let people know that Jay is running. And and he's an underdog because he's from our community. And we're still under, as much as we think we are ruling everything, we are still under. So he needs your support. His name is Jay Bieber, B-E-E-B-E-R. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him. It's J4LA.com. And I just highly recommend that you do your own research. Look him up, learn about him. If I was in District 4, I personally would vote for him. Okay, so
you know what? Let's not
LA
get into
districts are really screwed up.
Yeah.
They go like
Check
this.
what your district is. Yeah, District 4.
Yeah.